During the early 1940s, women were chosen all over the US and the UK to be a part of a top-secret mission. They were chosen based on their mathematical and statistical skills. These women were taught to decipher codes which revolutionized the intelligence work of the US government and women's roles in national defense. Their work helped significantly shorten the wartime by decoding some of the most complex codes. As a result, recognition and historical understanding of women codebreakers led to reform in both gender expectations and intelligence practices. Despite their groundbreaking work, the reaction to these women's achievements is often dismissive. Public reaction and recognition for the women codebreakers grew significantly as more information about their crucial contributions were declassified and their role in American history.
The early secrets. Since the beginning, mankind has had the desire to keep secrets. Ancient Mesopotamian cryptography has been dated back to approximately 1500 BCE. Around 1900 BCE, Egyptian monks and priests developed a photo-cryptographic system using non-standard hieroglyphics. Egyptians often used cryptology to protect religious secrets. At around 500 BCE, with the invention of the Greek scytally, this was closer to true cryptology than using non-standard hieroglyphics. The scytally was a baton wrapped with a parchment strip. Deciphering the message required the rewrapping of the parchment strip. During the American Revolution, George Washington led a group of spies who communicated in codes. Mount Vernon Historical Society states, spycraft during the American Revolution consisted of a complicated system of hidden networks, interpersonal relationships, scientific knowledge, personal cunning, guile, and risk-taking. He used Cypher code to represent and replace letters to mask the true messages he was trying to correspond. The letter recipient utilized a key to decode the true message. During the 1910s, cryptography was mostly a military job for men. There was a code-breaking organization called the Government Code and Cypher School. This was a part of MI6. A few men that were in cryptography are Gordon Welchman, William F. Friedman, Bill Tutt, and Alan Turing. He was a great contribution because he believed in women during this time. He wanted them to strive and succeed. One day, ladies will take their computers for walks in the park and tell each other, "My little computer said such a funny thing this morning." Alan Turing. Not only did he believe in women having jobs and using technology, he believed that it would one day advance in other, better opportunities.
The puzzle pieces. Cryptography was introduced to more women in the 1920s and the 1930s. Women started to be educated in the code-breaking field. When World War II started, men who were working in the cryptography were recruited to go fight. The U.S. and the Allied nations faced a massive demand for skilled personnel who could analyze intercepted enemy communications. This is when the women codebreakers were needed in the cryptography war. The government urgently recruited women who were smart, observant, and educated. They recruited from universities like Smith, Vassar, and Wesley. In the UK, they recruited from Oxford and Cambridge. Both the Navy and the Army recruited these young women into highly secretive missions where they themselves were not certain of what they had signed up for. Liza Mundy states only 4% of U.S. women completed 4 years of college, so the recruitment was very difficult for the government. Women were also recruited through government agencies and the military branches, such as the Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service and the WWII. Mundy states the goal of including women in the military was to fill non-combat roles which would free up men for combat. Many of these women were originally hired for clerical duties, but they quickly proved capable of high-level revolutionary code-breaking.
Dress codes. The Cypher women were required to take an oath. This oath required women to keep their job of code breaking a complete secret. If they broke this oath, they would face consequences. It was a top secret, life-threatening job because of these risks. Liza Mundy states, women were more than placeholders for the men. Women were active war agents. Through their brain work, the women had an impact on the fighting that went on. This is an important truth, and it is one that has often been overlooked. To ensure they kept their code-breaking life a secret, they were recognized as only secretaries to other people, such as their families. Almost everybody thought we were nothing but secretaries, one of the women would say years later. These women were strong because they had to keep their occupation a secret and still live a normal life. Code-breaking women worked in many branches of the military. The first recruits reported to the Navy headquarters in Washington, D.C. Nearly 10,000 women were recruited and had to add another location at Arlington Hall Junior College for women. Out of those 10,000 women, only 10 of those women were black women. That is about 0.01%. The United States Army and Navy secretly recruited more than 10,000 women from elite women's colleges in small towns throughout the country and trained them to do this intellectually challenging work, says Carrie Lawrence. One of these women were introduced to decoding machines. Women became key cryptanalysts working in places like Bletchley Park, Arlington Hall, and Station Hypo. They decoded enemy naval, army, and diplomatic messages, contributing directly to victories, U-boat tracking, and shore and naval battles. The biggest code-breaking mission was the Purple Code. The Purple Code was used by Japanese diplomats to encrypt high-level messages. This allowed Allied forces to make Pacific movements. According to Maya Wehas, Ann Kara Christie helped crack a code that revealed the locations of Japanese supply ships so the American troops could sink them. Their work was vital for the success of D-Day and the Pacific Theater, saving countless lives by providing advanced knowledge of enemy plans. Their work revolutionized the role of women in intelligence. It demonstrated women could excel in analytic warfare. Elizabeth Friedman could decode such difficult cryptic messages. Friedman states, "No code is ever completely solved, you know. This just proves that even the best code girl always thinks that some codes are challenging." During their time ciphering codes, these women faced many challenges and discrimination, specifically for sexism. Reports where men were surprised by the efficiency of women or doubted their capabilities, said Mundy. Some men treated the women poorly because they didn't think the women were important. Sailors often ordered Navy women codebreakers to wash windows until female officers stopped the task. They faced discrimination. These men underestimated the power these women held for the future of their country.
Numbers don't lie, people do. After the war was over, the women's work was considered classified information. The Code Girls, military leadership, recruiters and trainers, some government officials were the only ones who knew about their work in the war. Post-war pressure was pushing women out of their technical roles to make way for returning of the men soldiers. Women were sent back to domestic life, leading to their dismissal from military and tech jobs. Tasnuva Bindi says after World War II, as men returned from the conflict and women were encouraged to retreat to domestic life, women left computing along with many of the scientific and engineering fields in which they participated during the war. Recruiters and employers embraced pushing rural women out of male-dominated workplaces, even though these intelligent women proved that they were capable of highly technical strategic work.
Empowerment of reform. Reform of the 20th century saw an increase in women scientists and engineers. This did not hold true for computing. Sarah Fisher says, after women started to exit the computer science field, some colleges and universities tried to reverse the trend by adding truly introductory courses for students who had never used a computer before. But the narrative that programming was for men had already been too widely circuited. However, in the 1950s, women made huge strides in computer science work with NASA. The Cypher sisters laid out important reforms that became part of modern cybersecurity and communication agencies. The Navy and Army secret cryptography operations created what is now known as the National Security Agency. The role of these codebreaker women were kept top secret for about 50 years. The omission of World War II codebreakers, particularly women and pioneers from history, is finally being corrected. For decades, these women were forbidden from discussing work. Maya Wehas said decades passed before they were recognized for their achievements. The public first learned about the contributions of women codebreakers in the mid-1970s. Women coders came to prominence only recently, not because they were absent from the field, but because they were deliberately and subconsciously written out of the technical history. The reactions for these women were really available only until more information was declassified, and their stories were published.
There were numbers and letters, and you slid and you tried to get a match between different sections of it, and sworn to secrecy, too.
A 2017 BBC article, Chris Baranuk says, for decades, J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI claimed more or less all the credit for this achievement. Elizabeth, sworn to secrecy and uninterested in publicity, stayed quiet. In 2019, the Veterans History Project held a ceremony to honor the women and the families. The National World War II Museum had a dedicated display for the women and other women who made contributions for the war. After transitioning from college campuses to secret code-breaking bases, these women revolutionized the workforce and accelerated to the end of World War II. Their intellectual contributions reformed gender norms, proving that women were capable of high-level strategic roles previously reserved for men. As their secret military achievements gained public reactions and recognition, they became a symbol for women's career opportunities. Ultimately, the Code Girls didn't just break enemy ciphers, but they broke down the walls for future generations of women in intelligent and mathematical careers.